Hi there, this is Cyn, and this is Cynderblock, my level 19 warrior Twink, and we are going to take an accelerated solo tour of the Deadmines. That's right, the Deadmines are all new, they are revised, they are the Deadmines that your mother warned you about, and we are going to take them on single-handedly. First up, we've got some ogres, we've got some kobolds, we've got some ogres wielding kobolds, and that's actually about as effective as you might think. Which is to say, not very, but they are, trash mobs, and so they're going to die even if they are wielding each other. It's an unusual arrangement, and that's okay. Whatever works for them and their society, I'm not going to judge. I'm not here to judge. But they do die very quickly if you are spec'd for protection, because protection is awesome. And we are going to go ahead and move up to the first boss, who is Glubtok. Relatively simple, straightforward boss. He does hit hard. He does have some interesting abilities that you'll see, especially in Phase 2. He'll go ahead and make his fists glow with fire or frost. But really, basically, what your job is here as your tank is go ahead and keep your attention on him. Relatively straightforward from a soloing perspective as well. You need to get him through this first phase, where he will go and wail on you for a while. Generally, Crusader is a great one to use. Great enchant to use, because you can go ahead and have your heals in the middle of it. But then you can go ahead and heal back up, because he runs off and he does this for a while. And he's going to stand here, so you can basically retreat and bandage and do whatever you need to do. And here's the thing about this, you just don't stand in the bad stuff. Look at all that bad stuff flying around. This is really an object training lesson for your early raiders of don't stand in bad stuff. Alright, now into the Goblin Wing. Like I said, this is an accelerated tour. We're going fast here. The goblins are interesting. We're in for a wild ride with them in the World of Warcraft. They have mining monkeys, which you can either free, and they will fight for you, or you can kill for rep and experience, and which you do I leave to you. There's also this great room full of explosives, and if you're like me, you're going to go ahead and set off the explosives, because you can blow up a whole lot of mobs all at once, and then you go ahead and you kill them, and you get rep, and you get experience. Now, of course, you only get rep if you're wearing a tabard, so make sure that you grab a city tabard as soon as you can. They're located near all the flight masters, and you will get a considerable amount of rep from each one of the mobs that you kill. Now, these are relatively straightforward. We are still just clearing out the goblins, excuse me, I almost called them kobolds again. And now we're moving on to the oafs. So the oafs will do this nasty attack where they put an axe in your head. And you run around with an axe in your head. Literally, you got an axe, a graphic of an axe right in your head. And it's kind of disconcerting, and it's painful, and you do have a headache, and I do recommend ibuprofen for this part of the instance. However, they are relatively straightforward, but they're nasty trash mobs. There are 4 of them here in the master room and 2 of them outside. You just need to go ahead and clear them out, and then you do that before you get to Helix Gearbreaker and the Lumbering Oaf. That is this 2-boss boss. Helix is riding atop of the Oaf like Master Blaster in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. An excellent movie, by the way. And he is going to really he's a fairly straightforward tank and spank, except for the occasional time when he'll grab you. And Helix, of course, is throwing bombs all the time. They are tick bombs on the floor, which you probably should not stand next to when they are exploding. Just a thought. So as a tank, you may want to go ahead and kite him around if you have melee who are standing next to you, and if you have range, then forget about it and take the blows. Helix will go ahead and jump on you periodically, and he is a pain in the neck, literally. Alright, so now we're on to the Defias trash mobs, and they are relatively straightforward. You have the miners, who are again low-level, non-elites, and you have the invokers, who are casting those yellow lights, which empower the overseers and miners, and you want to pretty much take those out. Again, with Victory Rush. The Victory Rush will keep you alive through large pulls like that, and then you also have the wonderful Blood and Thunder talent as a protection warrior now, so you want to put Rend out and then spread it with Thunderclap. Okay, Goblin Foundry, totally different. Remember those nasty pulls you used to have to do? No more. Now you have vehicle combat with the Defias Reapers. You have 4 of them here that you want to go and reduce down to, I think it's about 25%. You can check on Wowhead to see what it actually is. But when they get down, then you have the ability to climb into them. And you can use their abilities on the next one, so that you can go ahead and just keep using the Reapers against each other. I'm basically mashing keys here. I'll be honest with you. You know, you hit 3 a lot, that goes ahead and moves them back, and then 1. They eventually die when all of their health goes out. But then once you have a chance, you can go ahead and use them against Foe Reaper 5000. Foe Reaper 5000, very intimidating name. Formerly a rare spawn in Westfall. He is a very large golem. He has a lot of hit points, and he can actually hurt quite a bit. So you see that I'm going to kite him around I'm going to kite him around the central column when he goes into this overdrive, where he just starts spazzing out all over the place. And then you go back, apply your debuffs to him. Keep Rend up, keep Sunder Armor up on him, keep Thunderclap on him. And then every time it goes overload, you run around that central column. Just kite him around. I mean, this is pillar humping at its easiest. Occasionally he'll do that harvest move where he targets an area on the ground and then does a big attack on it. Don't be in the bad. Just run. It's not that big of a problem. And then at the very end he'll go ahead and he'll rage, and you just go ahead and take him down. That fight actually takes a long time when you're not speeding it up. But it is a fun fight, and it's a very chaotic fight. Don't expect to hold aggro as a tank. Now we have more Defias mobs, and these are the Blood Wizards. They make those red spheres, and you can get them overlapping. They cause an increase in both damage dealt and damage taken, so you want to get them out of it or into it, depending on how you want to play it. And if you have a healer with you, you will probably not want to stand in them if you're relying on their healing. If you're doing your own healing, or if you are DPS, then you definitely want to stand in them because they are awesome, they will accelerate it, but as the tank, you probably don't want to stand in it as a traditional tank, because you are not getting an increase in your healing, just in the damage taken and done. Now back into the cove with the dreadnoughts. There are parrots where there used to be sailors, no big deal. But there are also cannons shooting at you, and they have a knockback like that. They will knock you off of the docks, or of the pier, really, I suppose it is. And it's just a hassle if you're, having a group or anything like that. So don't stand where they're shooting at you, and go ahead and take out the parrots on your way there. Mr. Smite is no longer there, so he's not going to have to improvise. Okay, onto the ship. This is fast, I told you. Defias Dreadnought. We have several sets of pirates here. Most notably, the Squall Shapers are the ones you want to watch out for. They're the ranged casters. Again, there are no parrots anymore on the ship, so you're going to have to make best use of your abilities to self-heal as you solo this, and to move around and make sure that you eliminate mobs as quickly as possible. Spread your rend around with the Thunderclap. Go ahead and make sure that you have that dot up all the time, and then move forward. If you are grinding rep, for example, if you are trying to get exalted, then you should kill the cannons as well. The cannons can be used against the Defias. If you're having trouble with gear, have some of your weaker members go ahead and climb into them. Okay, Admiral Ripsnarl. He is a Worgen. He is pretty cool looking. He's got a nasty haste stacking debuff. He starts moving fast, and then he summons these phases every quarter of his life. He'll go ahead and summon these phases where you have Vapor come, and they have some little mobs that come along. Don't ignore them, but at the same time, keep focused on the big guy, on the big snarly guy. This is probably the toughest fight, I think, in the instance, and that's not saying much at this point. The instance is a lot easier. It's just a lot easier. But it's also fun. It's an enjoyable instance. I don't think it's going to cause nearly as much heartache as it had before for the very low levels that got into it. Now here's the final fight in regular mode. Heroic mode, of course, has someone else here. Cookie has gotten an elevation in his status. He's now captain, and he sits in a pot and throws food at you. I'll let that sink in for a minute. If you wait long enough, he'll actually throw baby murlocs at you and they'll dance. So you can go ahead and do that if you like. You can eat the food. It gives you a buff. Don't eat the bad food. Any food that says rotten in it, I wouldn't eat, but that's just common sense. If you're having problems with that, then I suggest that you go, you take some lessons in culinary arts. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Now we have cannons left, and then you'll have a little bit of a cutscene here from the inspector coming by, and then you have the mobs on the back of the boat. And these are the mobs that you can kill if you are still looking for some additional rep and XP. They are relatively straightforward, the same mobs as that were on the front of the boat. But the boat doesn't seem to be as broken as it used to be, so they don't seem to get pulled, all the way across the cavern like they used to be. You can take them on one side. Make sure your rend stays up, spread it around, back up into mobs, no big deal. Come on, Cynderblock, take them all out. Yep, and that's pretty much it, right? You go ahead and you just whittle them down, victory rush your way into a full health bar and full rage bar, and that's it. Thank you for watching. This is Sin from Green Tinted Goggles and Sinwise's Battlefield Manual.